overstate the dangers of being, gay at that time, but you also don't want to downplay it. I mean, Latin America, still has, there was a lot of hate crimes in the United States, but also in Latin America, the LGBTQ, fight for equality is not over. And I think it's easy to forget that.
That's good.
Okay.
Hello.
8 minutes. We have 8 minutes, Dana. You can start.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Heidi. It's a pleasure to talk to you and to talk about this movie that I cry and then I got a little emotional. Yes, it's beautiful. I know the inspiration was this beautiful couple, but what was about them that wanted you to make this, like, this is your first feature, right? So what was about them that made you to pick them to become a movie?
I'd known them for many years. They're my good friends, but I didn't know their full story for like 7 or 8 years. And when they told me their story and how they had crossed and how they had met and the clandestine relationship, and then Ivan had a son and that they couldn't go home, and I felt so moved and touched and so surprised that I didn't know these things about my friends. And I think many people know very little about the immigrant experience in this country. And I considered myself like a worldly traveled person, and everything they had sacrificed to get here and to be here, it was so profound that it was a story I just wanted to bring to the public.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons that when I came to this country and I got my green card was easy in a way that if you compare to them, and this is one of the reasons that I stay and I try to build a future here because of that, you know what I mean? Because I was like, I need to be very grateful because there are so many people that want that and they don't have it. And sometimes it's like, that's why, you see, I got emotional just talking about this.
Can I do it for the people that are less lucky than you? And estoy de acuerdo.
Yeah, and like, what was like the biggest challenge to bring this story together?
Well, I am an American woman who's originally from Detroit, and Spanish is not my first language. Hablo español, obviamente, but I was making a film in Spanish in Mexico for my first narrative, and it was also based on 2 people I love. And so there was all this pressure that I had on myself to make sure I didn't blow it, that I got it right, that it was authentic, that it was true, that it was a film that Mexicans and Americans could both be proud of. It was like a cross-border production. And so I really, I put a lot of pressure on myself and on others to make sure we were getting it right. So I would say that was the biggest challenge.
Yeah, no, I bet it is, especially because everybody's been watching and then there is like family involved, everybody. I think it's like, but you nailed. And I like the way that you did using Christian and Armando to tell the past and then use them the future. Like, and why you pick Armando and Christian? Why they're like perfect to play those roles?
Well, I looked a long time for the man to play Ivan, which is Armando Espitia. I saw many, many, many actors. I was looking for a certain essence, an openness, a vulnerability, but yet a fire. So somebody who had an ego and had high hopes, but also had his own insecurities. So I think Armando as an actor can bring a lot of nuance. He has a lot of range. And so as soon as I met him, I knew he was Ivan. And then I had to find a man with which he would have a lot of chemistry, because it's a love story. So I had to find an actor with whom he'd have real electricity, because it's really, at the end, it's a love story. And so I put Armando with many different actors, and when Christian walked in, there was just like an explosion between the 2 of them, and I knew that they could pull it off.
Yeah, I spoke to Armando earlier, and then I told him about this chemistry with Christian, and then he told me just happened. It's something so natural. And I was like, it's amazing, because sometimes we try to put actors together, but they don't have chemistry. And I think there's
so many movies where you see that, even in like two big beautiful stars, and you're like, no, I don't see it. It's a very like amorphous, abstract thing, chemistry. And I looked and looked and looked, and the two of them was like, wow.
Yeah, there are like beautiful scenes on the movie, like the bar scene in the beginning when they met. There's some when I think that the scene when oh my God, I forgot his name. Not even the other one. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Gerardo gets to the door when he crossed the border and get to the door, and even sees him, the connection there. Those are beautiful scenes. Like, what was like you try to balance like with the old stuff with the new stuff? How was the approach?
Well, the editing was very long. It was very hard to find when to use memory, when to use present day, past. Really, the movie goes back and forth in time. There's future, there's flashbacks, there's flash forwards. And so there was a very long editing process. And I really, I'm really interested in show, don't tell. So the less dialogue, the better for me. So if we could do a scene without too much talking, where you can just imagine what they're thinking, I was really keen to try those kind of scenes. And like you referred to the staircase when they first meet after Gerardo arrives. There's no dialogue in that scene, but it's memorable. So I think we've all been in love. So we all can sort of fill in the blanks, between those two men. And so that was something that I played with a lot in the edit.
Yeah, but that's why like the way that you see, like your vision is very powerful and you pick the right actors to do that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you cannot, those feelings, those moments, sometimes we cannot get on camera if you don't have the right person, the right people. I think you nail. Yeah.
So much. What a relief.
Yes, no, that's right. And then also touches in another taboo, especially I'm from Brazil. Also, Brazil being a gay or a lesbian, it's very like, it's a taboo, it's horrible, and also touches in that conversation, and I think it's important too. How was like important for you to show that in the right way?
Yeah, it's really tricky because you don't want to be, over dramatic. You don't want to overstate the dangers of being, gay at that time, but you also don't want to downplay it. I mean, Latin America, still has, there was a lot of hate crimes in the United States, but also in Latin America, the LGBTQ, fight for equality is not over. And I think it's easy to forget that. But these are guys who were in a conservative town in the early 90s in Puebla, where there was just no way they could be open. They would possibly lose their jobs, be, ousted by their families. They could encounter, violence. And so I wanted to show that without going over the top. And so you see in the film, there's just very small moments of these dangers, but I thought it was important to put them in the movie because this is the way that it was described to me by the real Iván and Gerardo. And so, yeah, I mean, they were taking a risk in having a relationship at that time. They also took a risk in crossing the border to come here to live openly. But they really they didn't just come to the United States to open restaurants or to make money or to realize their, professional dreams. They also came so they could live openly as a gay couple here in New York City. And I think that it just adds to the complexity of their particular immigrant experience.
Yeah, I agree with you. There is a lot of like stories. I have some friends that open up like 20, 30 years ago and then still difficult. Until this day in Brazil, it's kind of a very, very difficult to deal with that, like with the society. It's, I don't know.
Small town.
Yeah, I know. But Heidi, I think the movie is amazing. I think everybody's gonna love it like I did, and a lot of success. And I want to thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I cannot wait for your next project.
Oh, thank you so much, Jana. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye. Muchas gracias.
A usted. Bye.
Ciao. If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.